Today, we wanted to talk about something that we see over and over again with a lot of the people that we talk to when it comes to investing in themselves and investing in their business. Now, if you provide a service for anyone, if you're a coach, if you have clients and you enroll them through a sales conversation, then this is something that you're going to really want to pay attention to. And you can use this in your own sales conversations.
That's right. So we know that objections come up for people. People either they know that they need help somewhere, they're interested in getting help somewhere, but sometimes they just can't convince themselves, or you can't convince them to take that plunge. And so why is that? Well, we wanted to talk about what comes up in the human mind as far as belief systems, because a lot of that is what is blocking people. So we know that people buy on emotion. So as we're selling a product or service, as we're putting something out there to genuinely help other people, it's resonating with them and they're like, "Ooh, I want to do that." And then, something comes in and says, "Oh, well, I don't know. I've already spent money on this," or um, I should be making money. I'm going to earn the money first. Or, you can come up with all these different objections. And so, what is that and how do you work around it?
And one of the things that we like to help our clients realize in the sales process is that all we're really doing is we're conveying the information. We're not convincing anybody of anything. Sometimes it feels like that's what we're doing, but really, we're just simply trying to convey what's available, and we're helping them to see why this is going to help them and if it is truly the right solution for them. Now, we're going to give an example of what we've come across in conversations we've had. We're business strategy coaches. So we'll get into conversation with someone who's already in business and they have taken a lot of courses, they have a lot of education, but the sales is not there. That's typically what the problem, that's the problem they see. And they think that, well, I just need this one thing. I just need help with how to close a sale. But really, a lot of times there's a lot more underneath it. There's a whole lot of things that can be contributing to why they're having trouble, getting that message out to the right people. But they think that because they go, well, I've already been through a year-long program. So I have all the information that I need. So I really don't feel like I should invest more or need to invest more on a longer term program, because in this example, our program is a 9-month program. The reason we have it as 9 months is because we want to ensure that that you get the results that you need, that you're getting the money that you need, and that you're able to take it and run with it on your own. So that kind of thing takes a period of time, right? It doesn't just happen overnight. So because they think, oh, well, I've already got that information. I took the course, I've got it in my hard drive. I really don't need all of that. So the thing is, if that's true, then why don't you have the result? If you have the information, then why don't you have the result that should ensue from that information? And what that should tell you, and should tell your clients as well, that something is missing. Okay, you either need to have the accountability, the implementation, or it really needs to be audited and looked at. Like, what are your processes and what are you doing? Because when we're in it, sometimes we can't see it because we're down here in the weeds, right?
That's right. And so, instead of looking at things, when people are bringing up these excuses for why it's not going to work, I've already done this, I've already paid money, I should know this, I should be able to be making sales. Or we've heard this one too, I want to earn the money to pay for your program before I sign up. Well, you're kind of looking at it backwards, because it's not about the time that you're going to spend in the program. If a program or a course is created correctly, has built in the time frame that is needed to get the result, right? The whole point in anything we sell, a product, a service, a course, a program, whatever you want to say that it is, or whatever it is that you sell, is to give us the answer to or the solution to a problem that your clients or customers have. So in our case, like Deirdre said, our program is 9 months. It used to be 6 months. We extended it because we realized that people are just really getting it at 6 months. And why is that? It's because when you're doing something brand new, so when you supposedly have the information, but you don't have our information, that's the other thing. There are so many different variables and ways that people can look at it or communicate the strategies and tactics of business growth and business strategy, that just because you've taken a program over here, it has nothing to do with someone else's. Okay. So we want to make sure that when someone comes in, they have the opportunity to, we do that audit that Deirdre talked about, what's not working, why is it not working? And we look at it, we give our recommendations, we help them build the process and the structure they need to fill those gaps. And then we say, okay, now let's go launch into the world. Let's sell it. Let's validate. And then let's look at what happened then. Okay. So we're actually real world changing your business with you along the way. It's not like you go through our program and you sit back behind your computer for 9 months and then you take action. That's not the way it happens. You take action from the beginning. And depending on what your program is or your coaching, if you're a life coach or you're a health coach and you're helping people realize a transformation, you have to know realistically how long will that transformation take. And so one of our clients is a a health coach, and she knew that people wanted transformation way before it really would end up happening. So she ended up extending her program too. You have to be real with what is it that you're promising? Can you give it? And just because someone who wants to purchase that solution wants it quick doesn't mean they can have it quick. That means they have their expectations are out of alignment with reality. So it's all about understanding where you are, being solid in what you're providing is going to give them the solution. How long does it take? And then leading them to understand that for themselves.
That's right. And, a lot of times we hear people in business say, well, I'm thinking about how long my course is going to be or how long my program is going to be. And they go, well, I think it's just going to be 6 weeks, or I think, I've seen other people do it and theirs is, 2 months. But again, that's backwards, right? You can't, because you don't know what it is and what the result is that they're getting. You might see it on a sales page, but there's a whole lot more to it than that. So you really have to, it's your responsibility as you're leading others to ensure that the result that you can deliver is the result that they need, and helping them to see that that's the result that they need to have, and then providing all of the tools and the time necessary for them to be set up for success. Because maybe it could get done in a shorter period of time. And there are some people who are fast action takers, right? And they're going to zip through the whole thing. Well, that's fantastic and good for them. They're just going to get further faster. However, you've got to build it so that no one's left behind. You don't want anybody to get through it and go, well, I didn't have enough time, or, they're going to start blaming themselves. And that's the worst position we could put anybody in. We don't ever want to put our clients and customers in that space. So we want to make sure that what we've built and the length of time of our courses and programs are the right amount of time and enough amount of time for everyone to be able to get through it, and at a pace that works for them and gets them the result that they need.
Yeah. And I think setting up expectations is huge because, let's face it, I would love everything to be able to happen like that, and in this world that we live in where everything's instantaneous, we get caught up in that and we start thinking, well, why would it take that long? But that's the wrong metric to look at. What you need to look at is the time's going to pass anyway. Okay. Let's say a year from now, the year is going to go by, whether you invest in yourself or not. But where are you going to be at the end of that year with the investment or without the investment? That's what people need to look at. And that's what you want to help them look at when you're talking about your program or your product or service. It's like, no one has to buy anything. And it's like Deirdre said, you don't want to convince, if you have to convince someone, then you're working too hard and it's not the right thing for them. You're trying to set up the expectations, show them why your product or service will help get them the result, and then it's up to them to make that decision. But you want to also educate them in this expectation thing. The time's going to go by anyway. You go with us and this is where you can be in this time frame. If you don't, then you're where you still are trying to figure things out on your own. So a lot of what it is people worry about the sales conversation and it feels yucky and you don't want to be pushy or salesy, and you don't have to. All you're doing is conveying information and setting expectations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one final thought on that is, when it comes to making a commitment, whether that's money or time, or a result, some people, it can be scary, right? Because we as human beings don't want to appear unsuccessful or appear as failures. And so if we're not certain that we can do the thing, even with the help, there's always going to be that little bit of self-doubt there. Well, our jobs in that sales process is really to help them get past that fear. Because once you go through it, and if they can borrow your confidence, you're confident. You've seen the results that you get for people, and what everything can look like for them on the other side. Well, they can't see that, but you can, and you know what it is. So your job is simply to convey that, to help paint that picture and show them what is possible and what's right there available for them. And when you can do that, and when they can start to see it because of how you've explained it, that helps them move past that fear and make the commitment, take the leap of faith, and to just go ahead and do it. And then that's the key. That's the most important piece of the entire process. If you can help them do that, because too many people stay stuck where they are because they're too afraid to go into something that they don't know everything about it. It's a little bit of the unknown, and they're too afraid to do it. And so what happens is they just miss out. They miss out on everything that's on the other side for them.
That's right. And, we help our clients with the sales conversation, because there's a way to prepare for it. There's a way to get this all going so you don't feel yucky. The person you're talking to doesn't feel yucky. You're able to help them understand, and you're able to close more sales. So if you want to learn more about what we do and how we help, please join us in our free Facebook group, The Empire of Unstoppable Women, and we will see you there.